So the BMW S1000RR M Sport, as this one is. Now this isn't my bike, as I mentioned at the beginning. This is BMW UK's machine. This is my long-term test for the season, basically. So I picked this bike up 3 months ago. So I've had this bike 3 months. I've done various track days with it. I've done road miles. I've modified it lightly as well. You know, so I've lived with this machine for 3 months now. So this is my mid-term update, really, of where I am with this bike, what I think to it. And then when I bought this, when I was lent this, I always had in mind, and as I have done in the past, every long-term bike I've had in the past, I've ended up buying. The GSX-R I had from Suzuki, the KTM 690 last year, and now this RR this year. And I'm very close to saying I'm going to have this machine at the end of the year, because I am absolutely loving this bike. I actually borrowed one of these last year to do, I had it for 2 weeks to do, you know, a 2-week review of the machine. And I said at the end of that this is a sports tourer. I said this is a sports bike, but it's also a sports tourer. Now that was quite a claim, and that's one of the reasons why I've actually got this year, because I wanted to prove that point. Is this really a sports tourer? And yes, it is incredibly comfortable. It is without question the most comfortable sports bike on the market, without question. The riding position is very, very comfortable for a sports bike. You know, I'm not talking about compared to adventure bikes, but for a sports bike this is very, very comfortable. The bars are quite close to you, the pegs aren't too ridiculous, you know, you don't duck forward on it too much. Now I've done some mods too. We'll talk about the mods in a minute, because I've done a fair few mods to this bike to improve it, to make it a little more comfortable. So we'll do a walk around and I'll go through all the mods I've done to this. But out the box, these are incredibly comfortable. What I really love about it, the electronic suspension, and I've mentioned this on other reviews and other comparisons. What's brilliant about the electronic suspension on this is it has a massive range of adjustment between the road mode, which is what I ride this bike mainly on the road, just in road mode all the time, because it really softens the suspension up, takes that harshness out of it. And then if you do want to go in dynamic or race mode, the whole thing firms up, and it's, you know, it has that real, from soft to hard, there's a massive adjustment, and in the road mode, in the soft mode, well, it's still not really soft, but it's just comfortable. I mean, I've started just riding the bike all the time in road mode on the road. Even if I'm going for a bit of a spirited bit through some twisties, road mode is really fine for that. And that's what I love about it. The suspension's comfortable. You've got all of the road-based comforts like the cruise control. Cruise control is essential on the sports bike. You can't live without cruise control on a sports bike. It's brilliant. I love it. And what I love about the BMW one, it's just one press and it's set, you know, so it's just really, really easy. The whole interface, the screen, the TFT, it's all so easy on this bike. You've also, of course, got the heated grips on this version as well, so the integrated heated grips. So all of those fantastic road-based comforts make a massive difference to the feel of the machine now as a road bike. And what is amazing with this, and what I have really tested with this, is that as a road bike it's brilliant, but if you do want to do some track days, it is phenomenal on track. Absolutely incredible on track. I think one of the massive standout features with this bike is the electronics package. The electronics on this, I think, are right, they're one of the best out there. They're one of the best out there. Even though this bike came out in 2019, so I guess the electronics are a couple of years old, and bikes like the Tuono, you know, the new 2021 Tuono, have a newer electronics package than this. I think these are as good as what is on the very, very latest kit still. I have never, ever noticed this bike on track or on the road doing any sort of interference or dialing the bike back or hesitating when you're giving it throttle. You do not know this bike has got electronics. It sorts all of that out for you. I think it just anticipates, oh, we've gone into reserve. It just anticipates what's going to happen. Go away. It anticipates what's going to happen, and you never feel it holding back and limiting your progress. It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't make, you know, it doesn't cut the power. It just makes it a little bit flatter, sort of out the corners a little bit. So this bike just feels a little bit flatter. It's all you really notice with the electronics. When in the road modes, there's no adjustable traction control, so you're not thinking, oh, do I want level 4, do I want level 5? The road's a little bit damp, should I go to level 7? There's no adjustable electronics. It's dialed into the mode. Even in the dynamic or the race mode, there's still no way of adjusting the traction control. But I don't think that matters, because it just sorts it all out for you, and it's one less thing to worry about. You just ride the bike. And I like that. I've got a lot of time for that. If you are on track and you're really getting serious about lap times, it's got the pro mode. You go into the pro mode and you can then use the toggle on the switch gear here to go up and down traction, you know, 1 to 8, how much traction you want, anti-wheelie, on or off, how much anti-wheelie you want. So you've got all that adjustment, but only in the pro modes. And I think that's the way to do it. You don't need all that for the road. For the road, just let the bike sort it out for you, and that's what this bike does so well. It just sorts it out for you. Right, as the fuel lights on, let's talk about fuel consumption. Listen to that, that's the Pro Race exhaust burbling. So fuel consumption on this is pretty good. I think it's got a 17-litre tank, or 16.5 litres. I'll flash it on the screen. 17-ish litre tank. It can be a little bit awkward to find neutral sometimes. That's one slight criticism. But it's got, I think, a 16.5 litre tank. Full to the brim. You'll see about 150 miles out of that. Of course it's got a fuel gauge. Of course it's got a countdown until empty on the fuel. You know, about 150 miles, so fuel consumption isn't bad at all on this. You get around about 38, 39, even 40 miles per gallon you can see on the road sometimes, so amazing. Also, I love the fact you've got a key. There's none of this keyless ignition nonsense. You've got a key on this bike still. Oh, I don't want this one. I want the super, only the best for my baby. Let's go to the super pump. Let's go for the ultimate petrol for the ultimate sports bike. Only seems right. Oh, I just poured it all over the pissing tank. God's sake, you hate it when it happens. 10 litres. 10 litres in. 15 quid out the bank account. Jesus. Another nice feature, which sounds like a silly thing, the hill hold control. This has even got hill hold control. I keep boring all my mates with this, saying, oh, hill hold control's on. But what a practical thing. Just when you're on a slight incline, it realises it's on an incline because it's got the IMU, and it just sticks the hill hold control and you don't have to cover the brakes if you're on an incline. As soon as you let the clutch out, you know, or pull away or whatever, it just automatically turns off. Or you can double press on the, see it's rolling back now, you can double press on the brake lever, turn it on and off. Just a little road-based features like that. It's lovely. So as you can tell, I'm loving this bike. I mean, it's even telling me, because I've got the app on my phone, the BMW app, it even tells you the speed limit of the road you're riding on. So this is a 60 limit here. Well, it's going into a 50 here, so let's see if that updates. It's going to go into a 50 in a second. Is it still? So yeah, 50. I better slow down, put the cruise control on, keep me at 50. But when you still, you know, little things like that, again, the speed, how often do you think, oh, what's the speed limit on this bit of road, I'm not sure. Tells you on the dashboard. And by the way, ignore the warning light on there. Ignore that, gloss over that. That's my own doing. I'll tell you why that's on in a minute when we do the walk round. To add to the road-based features, this also has turn-by-turn navigation, you know, through your phone, and I've used it. Again, you need the app. Set your destination on the app, and then you'll get turn-by-turn navigation on the screen, and also if you've got a headset like me, like the Cardo unit, it will tell you what to do at the next junctions and stuff as well. So turn-by-turn navigation, I've used that many times. Of course, I've also got the ultimate add-ons case as well, so I'll tell you about the mods, and I'll tell you about how to fit that when I go through the mods I've done. USB power here, we'll talk about that in a minute. So the bike is very, very good. Very, very good. I mean, I say it's a sports tourer, it is still a sports bike. You know, the pegs are still high, you know, compared to an adventure bike or naked, even compared to a naked, the pegs are high. You have got a bit of weight on your wrists, but I actually find this position, once you're used to it, pretty comfortable. I've done a couple of hours stints on this bike without getting off. You know, I've ridden to Brands Hatch twice to do a track day and ridden home on this bike, and that's a 2-hour trip there, 2-hour trip back. It's comfortable once you're used to this position. Once you're initially on it, I actually find fatigue isn't too bad on it, and you don't experience much fatigue on it. I've changed the seat. I talk again, this is about the mods. I've put on the non-M Sport seat on this now, the standard seat, and it is much more comfortable than the M Sport seat. The only slight criticism I would say, it does put a little bit more weight on your wrists with the standard seat. Oh, there goes the Street Fighter boys. Go on then, I'm not in a hurry. It does put a little bit more weight on your wrist than the M Sport seat, because it's quite a lot more padding in it, so it puts your bum a little bit higher, and then that throws a little bit more weight on your wrists, I'd say. So even though my bum is in perfect comfort, and I've never even had a sore arse on this bike, even after 2 hours in the saddle, it does put a little bit more weight on your wrists, I think, because it's a little bit thicker in the padding. But I think it's well worth it, because the M Sport one is really, really hard. And listen to this pop. Oh, can you hear that? Listen. I do like that. This bike's got the Pro Race N can on it, and because this bike has so many cats, you know, the main headers on this bike are so heavily restricted with cats for Euro 5 that even with like a real open exhaust on, it's not that loud, but you do just get a lovely little pop out the back. I did Brands Hatch last Wednesday, the evening session. I took it, went through noise testing, and had to rev the bike up to 5,500 revs, you know, static noise test, and it was 97 dB. The guy said he couldn't believe it. He said, "I can't believe you've passed, mate. I was expecting that to fail. I can't believe you've passed." And it was only 97 dB. He just said, watch the overrun, try not to get it to pop and bang too much. But apart from that, 97